on the home front now, the Public Servants Association says its members are preparing to strike next week over wage disputes with the South African Revenue Service. The union is demanding an inflation increase and a 7% pay rise to be applied across the board. The strike notice follows a deadlock in negotiations for the 2022-2023 wage agreement. Let's speak now to PSA's acting provincial manager in Gauteng, Stefan Viljoen. Stefan, thank you so much for your time. Are your members gearing up for a strike?
Good evening, Bongiwe, and evening to your viewers. Yes, currently our members is getting up for strike action. We are busy holding meetings to inform them of latest developments. We have today received approvals from various provincial municipalities to embark on the protected picketing and also on the protected strike action that will follow.
What impact are you hoping that the strike has? And I'm asking you this at the back of Nehau, that is also announcing that it will be striking. They say that our members shall demonstrate their power and send a clear message that no employer must take workers for granted, hence the fight to defend our hard-won gains. They also talk about lunchtime pickets that they are going to be, staging in order to ensure that they force the employer's hand. So what impact are you hoping that the strike action is going to have?
We are hoping that the strike will bring the employer back to the bargaining table and to provide us with an offer that we will be able to take back to our members that they can accept. That will reflect the hard work of all SARS employees that resulted in the meeting of the revenue target during the last financial year and even exceeding that target.
So when we talk about the employer, I'm keen to find out, you say you want them back on the bargaining table and yet they're offering a 0%. What was their attitude during these negotiations? Do you think they will budge?
Bongiwe, it's difficult to indicate whether the employer will budge because they have, during the wage negotiation sessions, maintained that they don't have any money and they will not be able to afford any salary increases. They then confirmed that stance within the CCMA when the matter was referred, when the deadlock was reached and the matter was referred to the CCMA to try and intervene, in which they confirmed that they now received a mandate from the minister which confirmed a 0% increase to be offered. That's not an offer to anybody to offer you a 0% increase. So we were at least expecting some percentage increase to reflect the hard work that our members have portrayed during the last financial year.
I suppose that has also impacted the staff morale as well.
Yes, no, definitely it has. During the last 2 to 3 financial years, SARS employees have lost a lot of their benefits that they had that was negotiated through collective bargaining processes in the past. And this has also participated to the low staff morale. You can just think for yourself, if you are working for an organization, you exceed your target by 17 billion and your reward is that you will not be offered a salary increase, that will definitely have a negative impact on your morale within the workplace. And we are just afraid that this might impact also the coming year's performance by staff, that they may not be so driven to collect revenue as what they've done in the last financial year. And unfortunately, the destitute South Africans that are benefiting from the revenue collection is the ones that's going to pay the brunt at the end of the day.
You say that SARS has unilaterally removed or altered some employee benefits. Which are these?
We had a benefit in which SARS used to pay your annual leave up to 6 days if you haven't utilized them in the last financial year, that you can then opt to have that paid out. SARS have discussed it within our bargaining forum. The unions was not in agreement that must be removed because we believed it was a benefit to our members that they are utilizing on a yearly basis. It normally gets paid out during February. You can consider people going on holiday, they're coming back, they want to pay their children's school fees with this money, and all of a sudden now the employer unilaterally decided to remove that benefit. Certain SARS employees also had a travel allowance or a field worker allowance. So if they were performing work outside of the SARS office at taxpayers, they can benefit to receive this travel allowance. Some of the employees obviously utilize that allowance to pay for vehicles, and they use the monthly allowance to pay off the vehicle then as well whilst they're traveling to perform their functions. And SARS has also unilaterally decided to remove that allowance, and it meant that none of those employees qualifying as receiving the allowance anymore.
So SARS says that, of course, it's an organization on the mend. I mean, you've seen what has become of the organization over the years. I don't need to tell you, because we've seen some of the challenges when it comes to revenue collection, as well as issues around corruption as well, and says that it's still putting itself on the path to the mend. So are you saying that it is in a position to be able to afford this particular increase? As you talk about those exceeded targets, are they enough to meet the demands that you are calling for?
We believe they are. If you've exceeded your target, it's money that you have not considered into your budget. We believe there should be an additional allocation made by the Minister of Finance, by National Treasury, towards SARS to reward them for the work that was done. South Africa need a competent revenue collection services to ensure that they can meet their targets, so that South Africa can also oblige by, ensuring that services are rendered to the public and to the taxpayer. Now, if we are not going to afford these employees a salary increase, and we reduce the morale of them, and they do not collect revenue the way that they're supposed to, and we do not meet target, and we collect less, it will mean that South Africa will have less money that we can do what we need to do and ensure that services are being rendered to the taxpayers. You can understand that this will just be a vicious circle, which will just take South Africa further down instead of taking it forward and ensuring that we can revive the economic outlook.
Talking about the finance minister, you've called on him to intervene. Has there been any movement on that part?
No, we are still waiting to hear from the finance minister at this stage.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Stefan, and just giving us a sense of where to from here. That's PSA's acting provincial manager in Gauteng, Stefan Viljoen, talking to us about that strike action, of course, that is looming at SARS.